Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Wednesday, it is the live game review of our 2-0 win last night against Watford in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. Not the greatest game of all time, not the best Everton performance, that's for sure, but a win overall, and obviously we're in the hat for the next round, which is all that matters really, isn't it? All that mattered last night was the win. And all that mattered last night was that we were in the hat for tonight's quarter-final draw, obviously after the round of fixtures tonight. So listen, obviously we're here to talk about the game. We're going to talk about the performance as a whole. Now, I wasn't best impressed with Everton yesterday. I wasn't best pleased with the performance. I thought it was quite uninspiring. I thought it was quite lazy. And I thought it was quite worrying at times. Obviously, it was massively improved in the second half. That first half was an absolute shambles. But the second half, credit where credit's due to Marco Silva, it was massively improved. He made the changes that he needed to make. Theo Walker's obviously coming on for Moise Kean, which we'll talk about in just a second, because I think Moise Kean was sort of put to the sword a little bit yesterday. And then I think we played a lot better. We started to create a couple of more opportunities. We started to move a little bit more, and we started to actually look like we wanted to win the game of football. Obviously hitting the post twice, hitting the bar twice, having one off the line and then scoring 2 late goals to win us the game against, let's be honest, a really poor Watford side. A Watford side that we should have been 2 or 3-0 up at half-time minimum. A Watford side that are currently bottom of the Premier League table, and it wasn't even them, it was the reserves. So, like I said, quite an uninspiring performance from Everton, especially in that first half yesterday. But we upped our game for the second half. We're here to talk about the game as a whole, obviously. So we're here to talk about the overall performance and the fact that the overall goal yesterday was to win the game and to be in the hat for the next round. And that's what happened. That's what Marco Silva's Blues were now to do. Yes, it wasn't the greatest performance. Yes, it wasn't the greatest game of football we'll ever see. But starting from, obviously, Marco Silva's starting 11, made a couple of changes there. Seamus Coleman coming back in at right back for Djibril Sidibe, which I thought was quite strange. Now, if that's being done because Djibril Sidibe is about to drop out and take the back burner because he's going to be playing Premier League games and he's being rested per se for Sunday's game against Spurs, then absolutely fair enough. If this is a way to integrate Seamus Coleman back into the team and now he's going to play Premier League games going forward, then I disagree with it totally. I thought Seamus looked massively off the pace yesterday again. Now, whether that's due to him still being injured, whether that's due to him not being fit, or whether that's just due to the fact that he's getting on now. He's had a load of tough injuries in his career, and he's just not the player that we all knew and loved. We all love Seamus Coleman. He's a fantastic individual. He's a brilliant role model for the young fans. He's a fantastic figurehead for the football club. However, he's not the player that we all knew 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. He hasn't got the legs anymore. He hasn't got the stamina. He hasn't got the capabilities. And that's what happens to all footballers. It's happened with Leighton Baines, which is why we don't see him frequently. And it happens with all of the greatest footballers. They come to a point in their career where they just can't do it consistently anymore. And I think Seamus Coleman's at that point, unfortunately. So for me, Djibril Sidibe should have played yesterday, but it didn't really matter. Obviously, Seamus Coleman come in. Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina with the centre-back partnership. Now, obviously, we'll talk about Yerry Mina in a little bit. For me, he's our best player on the pitch. I think he's probably... I'd even go as far as to say if Mason Holgate didn't have as good as a game as he did, Yerry Mina to be man of the match, and he went off bloody, with 60, 50 minutes to go through an injury. I thought Yerry Mina was fantastic coming back in. However, the risk to put him, straight back into the team, obviously after he's still struggling with an injury, after he hasn't fully recovered, is a dangerous one. And Marco Silva seen that by the fact that he had to stumble off injured again. Luca Dean at left back, midfield 2 of Fabian Delph and Andre Gomez. I think Andre Gomez struggled throughout the game, to be honest with you. Delph done okay as per usual, and then a really exciting front four that I think all Evertonians got excited for before the game. Now look, it's no secret that Moise Kean isn't a right winger. It's no secret that Moise Kean is an out-and-out striker, and that's it. However, seeing obviously Richarlison on one wing, Kean on the other, Iwobi in the 10 and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, I think it really excited a lot of Evertonians, including myself. Now obviously, it didn't quite work how we would have wanted it to work, and part and parcel of the reasons for that is because Moise Kean is not a winger and should not be playing on the wing. If Moise Kean is to be played, he is to be played through the middle, whether that's on his own, whether that's with a strike partner. He should not be playing anywhere else on that pitch other than centre forward, because that's all he knows how to play. He's a young kid, he's 19 years old, he's come over from a different country, he doesn't speak the language yet. It's tough enough for him as it is, never mind playing him massively out of position. Obviously, Richarlison on the left and Iwobi in the 10 and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. We'll talk about the front four in just a minute, because I think in that first half, it wasn't just those, I think the whole team was shocking. Passing was massively off, but the movement of the front four especially was really worrying in that first half for me. I sat there and I didn't get excited at any point during the first 45 minutes, and I was really shocked at how poor the front four were in terms of movement. They all looked like they didn't really know where to be. They didn't really know what to do, and they just looked like they had been given no instruction, and they didn't really know what was meant to happen with the ball and with the game. And for me, that's massively worrying. Chris says, "Hi mate, well done on the win. Thank you very much, Chris." Alex says, "Yes, Cam. Yes, Alex, hope you're doing well." Carl says, "Right, fans need to stop moaning about Silva playing Keane on the wing. That's how we started for 10 minutes in. We changed to 4-4-2 with Keane and DCL. Keane once again shit. Fair enough." Chris says a win is a win. I agree, spot on. Carl says I will be bossed the game again. Colin was shit all game. Carl says I want Baines to play one game at least this season. Baines will play again before he leaves the football club, whether that's through retirement or whether that's through his decision to move on and get game time elsewhere. Leighton Baines will put an Everton shirt on again, definitely. Carl says Mina was unreal before he was took off. He was our best player on the pitch by a country mile. Such a workhorse, such a absolute brick shit out of a centre half, an absolutely fantastic footballer, and for me he's been our standout performer all season. Chris says, "Did you go to the game last night?" I did. Carl says I did, Chris. Wayne says, "Come on, we need Oxford or Colchester to progress." We could do with a really good draw in this next round, because that performance yesterday for me, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. It really doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Obviously we won and we got for the draw tonight for the the quarterfinals, and that's really positive. But for me, I think we're looking at the likes of an Oxford or a Colchester at Goodison Park, and they're the only type of draws where I think we'd all sit back as a fan base and would go, you know what, I'm quite confident with that. I really am, because I think if we get any team away from home, I'm not confident whatsoever. Even if we get some of the lower league opposition away from home, I think we'd struggle. If we get a Premier League team away from home, I think we'll massively struggle, of course, and that's just proven on, going off previous results and previous Premier League games away from home. And I even think if we got a Premier League team that, weren't as shocking as Watford were yesterday, I think we'd have struggled in yesterday's game, because Watford were absolutely pony. They were shite all game, and they've been shite all season, and we still struggled to break them down for a large majority of the game. Even the second half, when we upped the game a little bit and we started to play better, we still struggled to break them down. We really did. Where are we? Max says Moise Keane or DCL. It's DCL at the minute for me. Carl says DCL. Moise Keane can't finish. DCL's way better. Wayne says, "Oh, be good lad. Enjoyed the game yesterday, even though we were pants in half time." Thank you very much, Wayne. I'm not doing too bad. Hope you good yourself. Yeah, listen, I didn't enjoy the game, to be honest with you. I didn't. Even when we scored the 2 goals at the end, leaving the stadium, I was massively disappointed. And I'm sure you've seen that in my instant match reaction. I'm sure that energy sort of come across. And I didn't mean to be negative, because I never want to be negative when we've won a game of football, because at the end of the day, the start goal is when you go into a game, when the ball's first kicked at 8 o'clock or 7:45 or 3 o'clock, whenever it is, the end goal is to win that game of football and to progress. And we done that yesterday. We won the game and we progressed into the next round. But I think the way in which we done it was, wasn't inspiring, to say the least. It wasn't a confident win. It wasn't a demanding win. It wasn't a consoling win. It was quite poor for me. Chris says, "Who you want in the draw, Merseyside Derby in the quarterfinal?" No. And Carl says, "I thought Marcus Silva won us the game with the Walcott sub. Since it's gotten stick, Walcott's been boss in the last 3 games." I agree, spot on. Cal also says, "Made me happy that Richarlison scored and celebrated." I wanted Richarlison to score all game. All the 12 Watford fans that were in that away, stand booing him every time he touched the ball for some weird reason and all this. I was absolutely begging Richarlison to put the ball in the back of the net for that entire game, and I'm so happy that he done it, and such a fashion he done it with as well in the last kick of the game, and then going up to Gomez and giving him a little bit of stick. It was absolutely fucking brilliant. I love that shit house attitude, that attitude of, well, if you're gonna boo me all game, why the fuck should I show you respect of a score? Why the fuck should I play the game down or play it like a professional? No, Richarlison was given, it was tormented all game by not only Watford players, by volleying him up in the air consistently, but also the fans as well. So when he scored, he absolutely deserved to go nuts, kiss the badge, get in the faces of their players and absolutely shut their 12 fans up. That made the distance from Watford to Goodison Park. HS Walcott just starts to prove himself. Yeah, I thought Walcott was fantastic yesterday when he come on. I thought he changed the game, to be honest with you. And again, I think that's as much as, Walcott being, having a little bit of confidence at the minute, and his performance has recently been quite good, as it is, having a natural right winger on the right wing and not Moise Keane. Moise Keane for me is a centre forward, and he's a player that should be played centre forward or in that striker position. You bring in Walcott on the right wing, and you're automatically giving yourself an advantage, because you've got a natural right winger who can get up and down, who can use his pace, who can take people on, who can go to the byline with it and put the ball in the back of the net or cut in or do whatever he seems is necessary. And I think that that massively helped us yesterday. Carl says Walcott better than Keane at the minute. Evertonian TV says, "Holy shit, I guarantee you will get Liverpool at Anfield." I guarantee you we get Liverpool at Anfield. The person doing the draw is a Liverpool man, I think. Wouldn't surprise me, mate. Cal says it was a shit game, but that second half we showed fight. That's what we need to do in the Premier League. We upped our game, definitely. Evertonian TV says, my dad doesn't rate Walker, but at the end of the day, he wants to give 100%. Definitely did yesterday. And Jack Gamer says, any Premier League team will play a second team. Fair enough, and I think it's important to note that yesterday, the reason I wasn't as, happy with the performance or particularly inspired by it is because Watford played their second team yesterday, and their first team's as bad as it is. Now, their second team, obviously, by, logics of football, if their first team is doing poorly in the Premier League, the second team mustn't be that good either. And I think we struggled massively against their second team, considering we had a full strength team out. That front four was as strong as any front four for Everton can be, whether it be in the Premier League, whether it be in the Carabao Cup, whether it be in the FA Cup. Moise Keane, Richarlison, Iwobi and Calvert-Lewin in the same team as a front four is as strong as any front four will be. Probably missing Bernard, which I think we did miss Bernard yesterday, and I think the game could have been a little bit different with Bernard, but other than Bernard's, absence, I think it's as strong a front four as any. The midfield is as strong a midfield as any. And the defence as well. Now, people can say about, Mason Allgate was in there and it wasn't Meenan and it wasn't Keane and maybe it wasn't Sidibe, but, Mason Allgate over the last couple of games is putting in better performances than Michael Keane has over his last couple of games. So for me, that was a strong Everton team, and an Everton team that should have been more than good enough to put a lot more past Watford. And not only in the scoreline, like I said, for me, it's not just about the scoreline, it's not just about the fact that we didn't win 4 or 5 or 6-0, because football doesn't work like that. The performance that we put in against West Ham, we won 2-0 in that game, exactly the same scoreline, but the performance was so different. It was so inspiring, there was so much energy, there was so much passion, there was so much pace, and again, that game we could have won 4, 5 or 6-0. We could have won 4, 5 or 6-0 yesterday as well. We hit the bar twice, we had one off the line, we had a couple of opportunities in the first half as well that could have gone our way, but the performance overall wasn't as good as the West Ham game, and that for me is slightly worrying. Where are we? Wayne says, won't care about how we played in that one if we get to a trip to Wembley, but agree we need a lot of luck. Only a few games away though. Yeah, I agree. Evertonian TV says, Cal, but we enjoy it. And Cal says, Moise Keane has been the biggest letdown this season. Could Wesley scored more. I think it's important that we give Moise Keane time, and I think we can only judge him when he's given a run of games in the team and he's played in the right position and he's been given time to settle into the club as well. Carlos says it could have been 3 or 4, but we missed early chances. We did. Eric says, I feel sorry for Moise Keane. He's a striker. There's a reason why he was on a young Golden Boy award. The boy is talented. The Marco Silva ain't the man to develop him further. Fair enough. Exactly. There is a reason as to why he was on the Golden Boy award, because he's a fantastically talented young player and a player that will only come good for Everton Football Club in the future. However, you're absolutely spot on. He needs to be played in his correct position and he needs to be developed correctly. Now, whether Marco Silva is the right man to do that or not is a different question. You think not. I think a lot of Evertonians will probably agree with you. But playing him out of his natural position definitely isn't something that's going to help. If you're enjoying the team, by the way, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me. Get the stream shared to all your family, all your friends, shared all over your social media as well. Get as many people involved as possible. And if you use the channel, please do subscribe. It'll mean a massive amount to me. The support has been unbelievable recently. So yeah, like I said, for me, the first half was absolutely shocking yesterday. It was sackable form. It really was, considering we were coming up against a team that, was sitting near the bottom, if not, I think the bottom of the Premier League table. We were coming up there against their reserve, so effectively a team worse than bottom of the Premier League, and we were struggling at Goodison Park to break them down. We were struggling to get any sort of control, have any sort of movement. Like I said, the movement was something I massively picked up on yesterday. It was so poor from the front four to the central midfielders. The passing was really off. Now, we can have a go at Marco Silva and we can talk about Marco Silva's tactics and we can pick at Marco Silva's team selection, but when those 11 players on the pitch can't pass a ball 5 yards between each other, that's not really on Marco Silva. That's not really on the coaching staff. That's on poor performances by the individual players, and that's something that Marco Silva at the end of the day can't necessarily help when he's standing on the sideline and Andre Gomez can't make a 5-yard pass. I thought Gomez struggled massively yesterday, and like I said, we needed a big second half, and we needed a much improved second half, because the game overall from that first 45 minutes was absolutely shocking. And we did, obviously, Moise Keane coming off at half time for Theo Walcott. Again, the right substitution, I think, in many ways, but the wrong decision to start him at right wing in many ways as well. I think it was the right substitution to take him off. He wasn't doing an awful lot. He wasn't impacting the game. He was lost. His movement was poor. He was getting sucked towards the ball and getting sucked towards players rather than, finding space and moving into space. Now, Alex Iwobi, I think, was caught a couple of times getting sucked towards the ball and standing still, but then he'd wake up a little bit and he'd move into space and he'd make sure that he took them opportunities, whereas I think Moise Kean just sort of wanted to hang around the ball and wanted to, pick the ball up and run with it rather than move into the space and potentially feed off it. He was taken off, obviously, for Theo Walcott. I thought Theo Walcott changed the game yesterday, to be honest with you. I thought he was fantastic. I really, really did. Again, he come off the bench. Again, he provided natural right wing capabilities up and down the wing, being able to put the ball in the back of net, being able to provide support for, Iwobi in the 10, being able to provide support for Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I thought he was absolutely fantastic yesterday. I did. Like I said, we needed to be much better in the second half. Marco Silva needs to take those players in at half time and he needs to give them a real bollocking because it wasn't good enough. It really, really wasn't good enough. And even the second half, to an extent, yes, it was a lot better, and yes, with it was an upped performance, and it was something that needed to happen, but it still wasn't fantastic. It still wasn't an amazing Everton performance. It still wasn't a performance that you go, you know what, that's good enough to win this competition. It was a performance that you look at and you think, okay, we've upped it, and okay, we've been able to get past a poor Watford side. But if we were playing as Spurs, if we were playing as City, if we were playing at Liverpool, we'd probably still get turned over on that performance. And I said this coming out the ground, I was positive. I said, look, all that matters is that we won the game and we're in the net for the next round. But if we play like that on Sunday against Spurs, we'll get absolutely turned over. And that's just the realism of it. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be sitting here and saying, yeah, we won, but this was shit, that was shit, this was wrong, this was wrong. Because at the end of the day, the positive is we won and we're through, and none of this matters. The performance doesn't matter now. The individual players' performance, passing doesn't matter. The fact that Moise Kean was played out of position doesn't matter, because we got through, we won the game, and we're in the app for the next round, and we can sit there tonight and we can have a little look eagerly about who we're going to get in the next round of the Carabao Cup. However, at the time, you have to delve into these things. You can't just go, well, we won, so it doesn't matter, nothing else matters, we won, let's move on, because that's when we start to think, well, okay, we won and we're moving on, so maybe that performance is acceptable, because that performance isn't acceptable for me, because that performance will see us be beaten by a lot of teams this season, and that performance will see us be beaten by any of the top 7 or 8 teams. If we play like that against Leicester, we'll be beaten. If we play like that against any of the top 5 or 6, we'll be beaten. So for me, it's massively important that we do look at the positives, of course, the win, the fact that we dug deep in the second half, the fact that we lifted ourselves up, we got our asses in gear, we started to create more opportunities, we started to have more shots on target, we started to break them down, and we started to realise, hang on, we're the better team here, we're the much better team here, so let's show that. But you also have to look at the negatives and think, well, why was that first half as poor as it was? Why, with a front four of Richarlison, Iwobi, Moise Kean and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, pace for days, height for days, ability, skill, youth, obviously young prospect, a lot of potential between them, that entire front four, why was there such a lack of movement, and why was there no intensity, and why was there no energy there? Obviously the second half, like I said, when Theo Walcott come on, he instilled that energy, bit of a more of an experienced player coming on, a player that, has been there, has done that a couple of times, so come on, instilled a lot of energy. We were much, much better. We really, really were. I thought, you've got to give credit where credit's due to Marco Silva, and I think his substitutions changed the game yesterday. His substitutions were shocking. Last week against Brighton, and effectively lost us the game because he didn't go, all out for it when we were 2-1 up and when we were looking for the second goal. But his substitutions yesterday changed the game for the better. Won us the game, obviously, with Cenk Tosun coming on and getting the assist for Richarlison's goal as well, and Theo Walcott obviously coming on and getting the assist for Mason Holgate's goal. Now I want to touch on Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina, because I think they're a defensive partnership that we should be looking at going forward. Now obviously Yerry Mina come off due to an injury, which again, I say this before every single game, I say this in every preview, I say this, when I'm having conversations with fans, when I'm having conversations with people about Everton, and they say, well, so-and-so might be fit, X-player might be fit, X-player's just, played in training, so should he come into the starting 11? And I always say the same thing, if they're not 100% game fit, I don't want to see them anywhere near the starting 11. No matter how much of an important player they are, I do not want to see them near the starting 11. If that player isn't 100% fit to start and fit to step in and fit to play 90 minutes with no problems, no injuries, no strains, no fitness issues, then they shouldn't be in that starting 11. And I say that for the exact reasons to what we saw yesterday, because Yerry Mina very clearly wasn't ready to step in and play a competitive game of football. Yerry Mina clearly wasn't fit. His game fitness wasn't there. He might have shrugged off his injury. He might have been injury free. He might have got over that little injury that he got against Brighton, but not against Brighton, sorry, a couple of weeks ago. But he wasn't 100% fully fit, and we seen that yesterday, and that was why he had to come off, because he got a little touch. He had he was involved in a little challenge, and it all come back to him, and he had to leave the football pitch. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought Yerry Mina was man of the match by a country mile before he went off yesterday. He was absolutely fantastic. He's so solid, and it's very, very, very clear to see that Yerry Mina is now our standout player this season, and he's been our best centre-half, and he's been our best defender by a country mile. He was fantastic. He come off and Michael Keane come on, and at this point I'm thinking, I like Michael Keane. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good footballer. I think he's got good intentions, and I think he cares about the club, and he genuinely wants to do his best. But I just think an out of form Michael Keane, a Michael Keane that isn't confident, is going to struggle in any game of football. He really, really is. And I think we've seen that at times yesterday when he first come on. I think he grew into the game with confidence, and I think part of that was because Mason Holgate was having a fantastic game as well. I think that defensive partnership of Holgate and Yerry Mina was fantastic. It really, really was. And then obviously I think more credit to Mason Holgate is that when Michael Keane come on, and you could see within the first 5 or 10 minutes of Michael Keane coming on, he was a little bit shaky, give a ball away. He was caught a couple of times with balls over the top. The fact that Michael Keane grew into the game, gained a little bit of confidence, and then by the end of it was actually putting in a solid performance, shows how good Mason Holgate was yesterday. I thought Mason Holgate was absolutely fantastic. I really, really did. And for me, he was my man of the match by a country mile, and that's because obviously he was fantastic, and also because Yerry Mina had to go off. Yerry Mina was on the pitch. I'm sure Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina would have both been man of the match. But obviously absolutely made up for Mason Holgate getting that first Everton goal. A fantastic goal as well. After that ball comes across obviously from Iwobi, goes over everybody. Theo Walcott takes a fantastic touch, puts it back into the box, and that's the type of situation you want your centre half to be in, and that's the type of hungriness you want from your players and your centre half. Mason Holgate's obviously in that situation because he's broken forward for the counter. He's broken forward for the corner. He's there, and instead of noticing that Iwobi's ball doesn't go directly to him and turning around or jotting back or thinking, right, I'm not going to get this now, he stays in and around there. He sees a good ball come in from Theo Walcott, and he thinks, you know what, I'm going to attack this, and I'm going to make sure that my head's on the end of it. And he heads it with such ferocity that you could tell his mindset was, I'm getting to this ball, and if anybody is around me and they hit me, I'm going down, and it's a penalty because nobody is getting to this ball before me. And he absolutely puts in a dart, and Eddie, you could see how much it meant to him, you could see how much it meant to the players, you could see how much it meant to the fans. It meant so much to Mason Holgate, and I'm absolutely made up for him. And that for me intensified our game. That gave us a little bit of a lift, because that made us think, right, the first goal's in now, we've pretty much won this game, because we knew Watford offered not. And even when Delafeo come on, even when they brought Corey on, we knew Watford offered nothing. They were never going to break the deadline. They were never going to score. They were never going to offer us any real threat, because they're just not good enough. So we knew at that point, I think, that the game was won. Even as Evertonians, we sat back and we went, right, even we can't fuck this up now. Even we know this is won. So I think it gave us a little bit more confidence to try it. A couple of more, obviously, we'd hit the post previously. Alex Iwobi did the post with a nice little shot. Luca Dina did the post as well with a decent free kick. The bar, should I say, sorry, with a decent free kick that was, it deflected over by hitting the top of the wall. And I think from that point on, from Mason's goal, we started thinking, well, you know what, we can have shots on target here, we can break these down, we can start to show that we're the better team. And then obviously we created more, and we kept going. And then within the last kick of the game, it was Cenk Tosun plays a lovely through ball to Richarlison. Richarlison takes on his defender, absolutely sits him on his arse, shuts up the Watford players, shuts up the Watford fans, and gets an absolute standing ovation for what was a fantastic finish. Let's not take nothing away from Richarlison. The game was over at that point. We'd already won it, but it was an absolutely fantastic, exquisite finish by Richarlison. And the game's over, and like I said, at the end of the day, all that matters is that we won that, and that we we're in the half of the next round, and we won the game of football. But the whole performance as a whole, especially the first half, was worrying for me and was uninspiring. And it's something that Marco Silva, instead of looking and going, right, well, we won the game and we're in the half of the next draw, I've obviously put the title build on this. Now we need to step back and we need to go, right, okay, that second half was much better, and was the type of performance that second half should be the worst that we play all season. That the worst, when we look at Everton this season and we go, we were a little bit off today, we were a little bit shaky. That should be the second half, where we're still attacking, where we're still creating opportunities, where we're still breaking teams down, where we're still getting through, where we're still scoring goals, but we're still, a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish. That first half is totally unacceptable. I don't want to see another Everton performance like that first half at any point this season, whether it be for 45 minutes, whether it be for a 90-minute game, whether it be for 20 minutes. I don't want to see another performance as poor as that was yesterday in that first half, because it was boring, it was slow, it was sluggish, and it was a shit game overall. It was a shit game. There was nothing in the game. Everton were poor and Watford was shocking. There was nothing in the game until, obviously, like I said, the last 25 minutes when we broke the deadlock and we started to show that we were, the much better team. Anyway, delving into the live comments, let me know what you all think, obviously, about that. If you're enjoying, please do hit the like button. By the way, it means a massive amount to me. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Where are we? Hang on. Don't wanna miss out on any comments here. So Carl says Moise Keane has been the biggest letdown this season. Oh, we read that one out. Evertonian TV says Moise Keane still needs time. I can't lie. Bringing on Walker for Keane at the time was ridiculous, but Walker put in a superb performance. No arguments at the end of the day. Yeah, I agree. Fair enough. Carl says Silva has started him and he misses early chances. He was good in a shit league, and in the Prem he's been shite, shown nothing, can't press, can't pass, dribble or shoot, make shit fouls. Better off with DCL. I don't agree, because I think he's a good young player, but fair enough, that that's your opinion and that's how you feel. And to be honest with you, at the moment you can't really argue about that, because he hasn't done an awful lot of note yet. Guadav says cup game against Liverpool. Please don't, mate. Please don't. Hopefully not. I don't think we're anywhere near good enough to challenge them, and some people mightn't like me saying that, but that's just think that's true. Carl says if we sack Silva, then I don't want a Premier League manager, because the last 4 have been shit. I want the Ajax manager or Rafa. Fair enough. Carl says Holgate was shit against Brighton defensively, but good going forward, not going back. Keane is better than Holgate. Fair enough. Eddie says, just wondering what you see in DCL. What's he actually good at? I don't rate him. Just wanted to know, do you really rate him, or was you just protecting him from the criticism he got last week? In terms of me, no, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a good player. I really do. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, at the very least, has proven that he can score goals. He's our top goal scorer this season. He scored a really good goal against Brighton. It wasn't his fault we lost the Brighton game. It wasn't his fault Moise Keane didn't feature. I think he played well yesterday. Of course, he wasn't as involved, but I think his heading ability, I think his ability to get up, take the ball down, move the ball on was good yesterday. Obviously, he scored against Manchester City earlier on this season. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a good player with a lot of potential. I just think he needs players around him that can feed off him. And I'm still not necessarily convinced Dominic Calvert-Lewin works in this Marco Silva system. However, that doesn't mean that he's not a good footballer, in my opinion. But fair enough, obviously, your opinion's your opinion. Tavels46649 says, alright, mate, my name's Mike. Love this channel. Thank you very much, Mike. Really do appreciate that. I think Silva has to get at least 4 points from the next 2 Premier League games, or he's on very thin ice, especially before that international break. Not sure who would bring in, though. I agree, spot on at 100%. And again, for me, I'm not too sure who would bring in either. I think there's positives and negatives for most managerial candidates that are getting thrown about at the minute. Carl says, look how many goals he has scored this season. He's a top goal scorer. DCL's a brilliant player. He's the main player in the 4-0 win against Manchester United. Against Chelsea, he gets us goal. Keane hasn't yet. I do agree with that. Guadav says, what is your opinion on selling players to Liverpool? Listen, if Liverpool want a couple of our players, they can have Cuco Martina for a start. They can have Cuco Martina straight off the back. I'll walk him through Stanley Park myself if they want. But any of our top players never ever sell to Liverpool. Tavels46649 says Keane is a joke, shouldn't be getting anywhere near this team. Wayne says, help him out with his channel if you all. Tell a Blue fan to sub on a phone or internet or share on Facebook, because Cam gives us a lot of time to get good videos out and he always reads your comments. Thank you very much, Wayne. Really do appreciate that. And Wayne says, respect, lad. Really do appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you very much for all the support as per usual. Eric says, Holgate has had 2 very good games. Don't understand the criticism he gets from the fan base. He's a starter, in my opinion. I agree. He has had 2 very good games, and I think obviously he will be a starter for the next at least coming weeks, because Yerry Mina looks to again be out injured, and I don't think he'll be risked on Sunday. Carl says Savills Keane is great. He's had 1 bad game. Stop slating him. Carl says Holgate doesn't know what position, spends more time in the opposition box than his own. He's had got an assist and a goal in the last 2 games that have ended up being, well, especially yesterday's goal was quite detrimental to us. Savills says Keane has been shaky most of the season, much more than 1 game. How can we rely on a player who's a 3 out of 10 1 week and a 6 out of 10 the next week? It's not good enough. Carl says, I hope Keane does well, but when you have it being in every defender's back pocket, it's not looking good. Fair enough. In terms of the Michael Keane situation, I think Michael Keane's a player that plays off confidence. I think Michael Keane's a player that, when confident, is really good. However, when not confident, can be very shaky. Travels also says Holgate has had 2 good games. Why position the defender who's clearly not in form for the club or internationally? I agree. Carl says good. Siena says I feel Holgate and Mina could be better than Zuman and Keane. Hopefully, fair enough, maybe, we'll have to see. John says, hi Cam, hi John, hope you're doing well. Carl says, look at the 2017-18 season, Holgate lost us 6 games with his fouls and poor positioning. Keane was good against West Ham, Wolves, Watford, twice City and Sheffield Wednesday, and Burnley 7, that's 7. You can't disagree with the fact that Holgate, was poor a couple of seasons ago, but again, we're looking at that being a couple of seasons ago, and I think it's fair to say he has improved since then. I also think Michael Keane is a good centre-half. I just think he's a confidence-based player, and he's not playing with confidence at the minute. Cal says, best Everton fan channel out there. Thank you very much, Cal. Really do appreciate that. John says, I think Holgate should start against Spurs on Sunday, and Keane should be dropped for the game against Spurs on Sunday. I think Holgate and Keane will start because I don't think Yerry Mina is going to be fit, to be honest with you. So I think we'll get to see the both of them. Cal says, John, if we drop Keane, who are we going to play? And Savill says, it's a Slater player for performances in 17, 18, 16. He has been on loan since then and looks a better player. IMO, not denying that Keane is a good game here and there, but we need consistency. Fair enough, and I agree. It is tough to slate Holgate on performances from a couple of years ago. Tanya says, Holgate is hard, though he does. And Savill says, agreed, John, let's see how it goes. Yeah, spot on. So yeah, listen, overall yesterday, as you're seeing by my instant match reaction, I wasn't best pleased with the performance. I wasn't most inspired by the performance. I think we could have been a lot better. I think we should have been a lot better. And like I said before, I don't want to see another Everton performance like that one in the first half because we were nowhere near good enough. However, what we have to take from this game positively is the fact that we've won, is the fact that we're in the hat for the next round, obviously, of the Carabao Cup. We need to look at that positively, and hopefully we can take some momentum and some confidence from this going on to what is a massive game for Marco Silva on Sunday against a decent side. Yes, they're not in the best form at the minute. Yes, they're having their own issues with their manager and their own issues with the squad, but they still had a decent side. So it's a big game for Marco Silva on Sunday. Big thanks to everybody for watching today. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Get the videos, get the stream shared. I really do appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to go and follow us on Twitter as well. It's at Mighty Blues YT, just in the corner there. It mean a massive amount to me. Of course, the live draw is today for the 5th round of the Carabao Cup, or the quarter-final, if you want to say it like that. So yeah, obviously, like I said, we'll be covering that on Twitter. We'll be tweeting out who we get absolutely instantly as soon as the draw is made. We won't be doing an instant reaction to the draw because I'm actually going out today to do a pub quiz, funnily enough. Definitely something that's been suggested on Twitter is that I start doing live streams of the draw reaction so people can come and watch live and we can discuss it live, and obviously we can find out live. That is something I will definitely do for future draws. Hopefully, if we get through the next round, I'll definitely be doing it for semi-final. I'll definitely be doing it for the final, and I'll be doing it for the FA Cup games as well. However, I can't do it tonight because I've already got pre-plans, but I will be doing a reaction to the draw once I get home tonight. It'll probably be a little bit later on, and I might be slightly intoxicated, but I will do a reaction video as to who we've got, giving my quick opinions on it and my quick thoughts on it. But yeah, like I said, big thanks to everybody for watching. Listen, it wasn't the best win yesterday, it wasn't the best performance, but we won at the end of the day, and that's it. That's it, really, isn't it? We won. We're through into the next round. We're in the art, and we've just got to take the positive from here. Big game on Sunday. Hopefully, we can get a decent performance in. Hopefully, we can get a decent result as well. And yeah, let's see how that one goes. Where are we? Carl says Holgate was good for West Brom because he didn't play centre back. He played right back. He did play right back. Eric says, what does Silva have to do to get sacked? A club of Everton's stature should never be in the bottom 3. If goal was top 6, and we're nowhere near that shouldn't he be sacked? Yeah, fair enough. It's a good point, and I think the main aim now and the main focus is the Premier League. And if Marco Silva doesn't start booking his ideas up in the Premier League and the team don't start booking their ideas up in the Premier League, I think it'll see him go that way, to be honest with you. And Cal says, Cam, you pisshead. Listen, I don't really think, to be honest with you. I know I've stuff going on over the last couple of days, obviously, because it's been my birthday and the celebrations have gone wild over the last couple of days. But I don't really drink an awful lot. I don't. I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm a bit of a lightweight, to be honest with you. So I probably won't be drunk, but if I sniff ale, mate, I'm on the floor. So yeah. Cal also says, see you, mate, have a good night. Thank you very much, Cal, and you too. So big thanks to everybody for watching. Big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments as well. If you're watching as a YouTube video, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading and trying to reply to them all night. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter to make sure you know as soon as it happens who we get in the next round of the Carabao Cup. Big games tonight, obviously, big Premier League games. The Shite are playing Arsenal, and there's other games as well. So we could easily get a good Premier League team, or we could easily get an Oxford or a Colchester, or somebody that that we could see us beating quite easily. But then again, no game's an easy game with Everton. Carl also says you only drink heavy when we play. Yeah, I don't even drink when we play, mate. I just go home and go to bed. Do the reaction and go to bed. But anyway, big thanks to everybody for watching. Please do leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to join us as well. Like I said, a little bit later on for an instant reaction to the game, or it won't be quite instant. It'll be a little bit after to the draw. Sorry, it'll be a little bit after the draw, and then of course tomorrow for the full game preview to our game against Spurs on Sunday. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.